my ads were literally Sterling Metals is a scam. Call this company instead. And it just crushed. The next month, my commissions were $15,000. And I was like, oh, whoa, this is...
Hey, thanks for checking out the show. Just wanted to walk you through what we got going on inside Funnel of the Week. So Funnel of the Week, every week we break down a new D2C direct response funnel. So we go through the funnel. So for instance, this is a foot pad funnel for Acusoli. We got all the native ads, go through the actual funnel, go to the landing page, it's advertorial. Actually go ahead and buy the product and document the whole upsell funnel. So we check out upsell number 1 there, upsell number 2 there, upsell number 3 there, upsell number 4, upsell number 5, going through all the purchase process, checking out all the ads, all of the funnel details and what happens in the funnel. And we do this for a bunch of funnels. Every week we go through a new D2C funnel and drop it in here. Even do stuff like this. Here we're going through the top TikTok shops. This one generated over $118,000 in the past 24 hours. Here we are going through sharing all the ads, walking through, explaining why it works, giving you ideas you can test yourself and more. So go over to funneloftheweek.com, check it out. We have a free email list where we share insights from all this stuff every week, and members area where you can go in and check out the full funnel details for many funnels. Looking forward to having you check it out. It's funneloftheweek.com. Hope to see you inside.
Sweet. We are in John, your library.
Yeah.
Deep in the, I don't want to give away the exact location. Feels like a marketing bat cave here, but somewhere deep in the mountains of somewhere. But it's incredible here, man. And, we got to just cruise around your house a bit, and what an impressive place. And this life because of what?
Marketing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Of just working hard and
Right.
trying to do my best.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people know who you are, and, like everything that you've done, you've definitely been a luminary in the marketing space for quite a while. And yeah. So it's really an honor to have you on our show and just be here. Obviously we have some of the evidence of your accomplishments behind us here, ClickBank, ClickFunnels, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And then what's cool too is I think, and we'll hopefully get into this later on in the talk, is the amount of books that you've accumulated here. And it's not like, walking around, you see some cool bookshelves in people's houses and you go, oh yeah, those are some cool books. But with John, with you, I'll go like, yeah, those are some cool books over there. And you're like, yeah, so this one, you're giving me like 10 takeaways from whatever random book I point at. So it's cool that you've actually consumed and digested it. But yeah, I mean, hope we can talk about what you're up to now, how you got to where you're going, or how you got to where you are now, and all that. So excited to have you, man.
Dude, I'm excited. This is good. This is actually the first podcast in my new studio here, right?
Nice.
I built out this library to be my office, and this will be the first podcast here. So I'm excited about that.
It's fantastic, man. Yeah. And yeah, so obviously you come a long way. Like, how did you get into all this in the first place? I know we talked about you had a lemonade stand early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say I had great parents,
Mhm.
and I, started learning sales very early on.
Mhm.
I was 6 years old when I was operating my first lemonade stand, and we were, we'd go to this golf course. I remember there was the US Open in Los Angeles one year. This was when I was 6, and I sold a lot of lemonade. And I think that early kind of, they say the formative years are those years between 3 and 7. So I think that gave me at least built some confidence in myself and my ability to actually collect money from people, which I definitely say has had a positive effect. The other big starting point in, I'd say, my career and my success was the foresight of an anonymous donor who I don't even know at my elementary school donated 30 computers for a computer lab and a computer teacher. And this is back in 1995, 96. We were on Google right when it came out. We were learning, at 8 years old, I was learning how to code in HTML and CSS.
Wow.
And I'd say the combination of learning how to communicate with computers and learning how to communicate with people has been, and those really early positive interactions in my life kind of led me to where I am today.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, right now, I know you just did a live stream on your YouTube channel
Yeah.
for, what was it, generative AI and marketing, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
I'm,
yeah,
AI.
yeah.
Don't get me started. I love, for me, that's like the penultimate of like where everything's
Mm,
led me almost.
yeah, that's wild. And then in the meantime, obviously, like you mentioned, other conversations like college, you got some businesses going there, and
Yeah.
then after college.
Yeah.
So how did you get to, let's say, John Crestani first big affiliate marketing success? What was the pathway there?
So in college, it started, I got really jaded at a certain point because I was sitting in class and, this, I'm learning from professors who are literally complaining about not having enough, like about expenses and they don't make enough money. And I'm supposed to be learning business from these guys,
Hmm.
like learning from guys who've never run a business, who drive a Toyota Camry. And I just started to realize this doesn't make sense. Why am I even putting my time and effort and my emotions into this?
Hmm.
So I started learning myself and I started going through all these courses and I finally read the 4-Hour Work Week, which said, if you have something valuable, sell it. So first I started selling some things on eBay. Then I realized I take really good notes in class. I've always taken good notes. I said, I'll sell those. And I sold them to a couple people. And then I realized people want to buy this. I have the answers to, the at least last semester's, quizzes and stuff. This is valuable. So I started marketing it. And I started every Tuesday and Thursday at like 6 or 7 a.m. before all the classes started. I would get to school. My first class was maybe at 8, so I'd get there at 6. And I'd print out a bunch of flyers. It was free. I think I had 25 free pages a day. And I'd print out a little poster that said, I have study guides for all, for a bunch of classes, email me. And, I said, I have basically the test answers for a bunch of courses. Nobody contacted me. Do you know why?
No.
Can you tell? Okay. I'll
Yeah.
the answer is because it's too broad. When you say you have something for everybody, or when you're not specific. So it took me, but the thing is, I didn't give up. I kept going out, and I was reading Dan Kennedy at the time. The Ultimate Sales Letter. I read Cash Advertising. I'd taken all these. I used torrents to get all these marketing courses. I was a machine because I was like, I'm a schmuck. I need to make some money. And I have something valuable. Why can't I sell it? Why don't people realize? And as a side note, I think that's how everybody needs to feel about themselves. But that's more meta. Let's keep it on the specific level. So I kept going out there every Tuesday and Thursday. And I think it took me about 5 weeks to actually hit a winning headline. And it was when I got super specific. I said, I have like all the answers for FIN 301OL. I'll give you your money back, and if you don't get a B+ or above in the class, I'll give you all your money back. And it crushed. Every tab was torn.
Nice.
I got a bunch of emails. I got emails from people using proper grammar, spelling, and punctuation, and I knew those were teachers,
Yeah.
and I didn't respond. And I got a lot of emails from people saying, what is this? And what I quickly realized is that the demographic was the only people that were buying were Middle Eastern and mainly Asian. I'd say it's 80% Asian, no other cultures. 80% Asian, from China, from Indonesia, and 20%, I'd say, Middle Eastern. And I was charging $400 per study guide. And I would have days where I made over $1,000 a day.
Wow.
And my sales presentation was I'd bring up my laptop. I'd have them go through a sample quiz and I'd, you'd look at my study guide and see if the answer was there. And I'd do Control F no more than 2 times before somebody would just hand me the money. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's when I realized, oh, wow, marketing's a skill. And it's an exponential skill. It's the difference between having one of those tabs torn or all 12. And the difference between headline. And once I realized that, wow, there really is a payoff, but it takes time. It was like, it's like a hit of a drug. And I kept chasing that in marketing campaigns, and I've had some big wins. And that's how I'm here today, I guess.
I mean, because most people would have given up after maybe week 1 or week 2, no takers in the flyers.
Yeah.
And then you kept iterating, following the advice of all those books and torrented stuff you were reading. So
yeah.
So then how did you go from selling study guides to getting into affiliate marketing?
Yeah.
Great question. What was that step like? Selling in person to selling one to many?
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. So all this time, I was experimenting. I set up a website to do this. I started hiring people to put up these same flyers on different college campuses, but without the demo, it didn't make, but I was like, okay, I'll get people to put up flyers on other campuses and drive them to a website. And I was buying Google AdWords. I was making a good deal of money. I was making up to $10,000 a month in college. I have no expenses.
Right.
I have no expenses. I'm eating like raw, I'm used to eating ramen with my frat bros. And so I'm learning websites and AdWords and all this stuff. And mind you, this is 2008, 2009. This is way before most people were like, oh, like, there was a lot of material out there. I don't even know if, YouTube was just coming out, it's like, there wasn't guides on how to do this.
Right.
And there weren't books on these subjects. So I was, I'd heard of affiliate marketing, and I kept trying it as well in my free time. I was like, I see some guys making a lot of money doing this, because I'm searching these things, and I joined Stack That Money for them.
Oh yeah.
And what made it really real for me was some of what were the follow along section. Were you part of Stack That Money Forum?
I dabbled in it. I know. I'm very familiar with it. Yeah.
At the time, $97 a month. Like, I didn't have many expenses. My income was variable. I was like, I was like, for a forum, like 97, nobody was charging $97 a month for a forum.
Big ticket back then. Yeah.
That was a big ticket back then.
Yeah.
For a forum.
Yeah.
And the follow along section changed my life because I got to see how other people were doing it. And I was promoting acai berries, but I just couldn't get it to work. The problem was I realized I wasn't using a landing page. Later on, I realized that. But I was doing Facebook ads in 2009 to acai berries. It was like, I heard that was the magic. I was like, Facebook ads and acai berries.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, people were pushing berries, they're like, acting like, I went to Affiliate Summit later, and I was like, wow, there's so much money in this industry. Nobody knows. All these people are living free. They don't have any strings attached, no investors, no nothing. Like, just do whatever the heck you want to make unlimited amounts of money.
Right.
That was the way. And finally, I hit my first affiliate camp. I worked corporate for a few years. And one of the clients I took on the side asked me or they said, look, we'll pay you your retainer fee for 1 month. At the time, my retainer fee was actually, I told him it was $10,000.
Nice.
I was making $6,000 at my job.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But I was just like, I just come from a Tony Robbins thing. And I was like,
go big. Yeah.
Yeah, go big. And he was like, okay, we'll do that the first month, but afterwards it's going to be commission based. You'll get 3%. I was like, okay. I was like, $10,000, baby. Like, I'm like 23.
Right. Oh,
I'm like, an extra $10,000. Let's go. Yeah. And so I set up the ads. I'm doing all the stuff. I'm doing some of the research. I'm like, first month goes by. It's a lead gen company. It takes 6 weeks to actually close. That's the average sales
Okay.
cycle.
Uh-huh.
Those average sale was $80,000.
Okay.
It was 401k rollovers to gold. And the next month, my commissions were $15,000.
Whoa. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, whoa, this is,
Yeah.
I was like, I thought I was just getting a freaking retainer here.
Yeah.
Whoo. And that became an income stream for me for probably 3 years, fairly passive, 25 to 75,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wild.
That was I'd say that was my first million.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's how I got in affiliate marketing.
Wow. And how did you figure out that particular offer? Like, how did you actually make that connection?
Oh,
Yeah.
good question. Yeah. Good question. So what I did was very simple and intuitive, but I found that marketers, like no marketers do this. Mm-hmm. And I don't get it. Why? It makes no sense. So when I was at this agency, you know, I said I worked corporate for a few years before I became full-time affiliate, right? Mm-hmm. I was working with a mortgage company as one of the clients. And what I'd do is I would go to their office just to get out of the own office I was working in, partially just, I don't mind driving, you know, I live out here in the mountains. And I would just listen into the sales calls. Mm. I'd sit next to the salespeople. I'd listen in the sales calls. And I'd listen to all the conversations. I'd ask them, you know, I'd look at the CRM, see if they could see the source, see how they're talking to the person, see what the salespeople look at, you know, source ID or how are they figuring out how they angle their pitch, et cetera. So I did that for this gold investment company. I'd literally go to the office and sit with the 3 or 4 salespeople. It was a small organization when I joined. I was like one of the first affiliates. Mm-hmm. I listened in the calls and I got really good info. Mm-hmm. And the best leads, I'd say, so that was one thing that helped me with the copywriting and really understanding the pain points and how to talk to this lead, because mm-hmm. I didn't have a retirement account. I didn't even know what a 401k is before I started marketing this company, mm-hmm. or what an IRA is or how all this stuff works, right? And then the second big thing I'd say was I just said, I mean, this got me sued, but I said all the competitors were scams. Huh. So people would search for the competition, like Rosalind Capital or Gold Line or, you know, Sterling Metals Depository. Yeah. And so they'd search Sterling, you know, like Sterling Metals reviews. Yeah. And my ads were literally Sterling Metals is a scam. Call this company instead. Wow. And it just crushed. Wow. It crushed. This is like 2012. Yeah. It obliterated. Yeah. And what I did was I would do I would set up each ad campaign so that I removed the geography, like the entire state, wherever that company was based. Mm-hmm. And I looked up the owners of the companies, like where the owners were, mm-hmm. you know, there weren't too many remote organizations. I just block out areas where I thought they'd be, you know, like if they're in New Hampshire, you know, if they're in Massachusetts, they might go to Vermont for skiing, right? Right. I just blocked out this stuff because I was like, let me run this stuff for as long. And I'd say that combination of tactics just worked pretty well. Yeah. Yeah. You found an opening and just like a good affiliate, right? You found that and you just pedal to the metal. And the ROAS was like, minimum 5x. I mean, that's insane. So $80,000 average customer value. Yeah, but I'd get 3% of that. So a couple thousand. That's great. Like 2,700 commission. That's great. Yeah. That's insane. So then fast forwarding, I'm sure a lot of other offers. So then when did you decide to become sort of the face of a product? How did that come about? That's a great question. So I did the Benjamin Franklin exercise where I draw on. So after I built my own just affiliate marketing and into an affiliate network. I basically, there are a lot of people who wanted to work for me. And I said, yeah, you can work for me, but you have to, you know, like, or you can learn from me or whatever. But I'm just going to start an affiliate network and I'm going to take 25% of whatever you make.
Mhm.
And that ended up working out extremely well. I mean, I created the guys who worked for me came from like making nothing to making an unbelievable amount of money
Mhm.
in that thing. And then I sold the affiliate network. I hired some partners on. The problem was I was making too much money at this time, and I think that business partnership went really bad. The business partner, I went into business with an alcoholic. I'm talking like, we'd be out somewhere and he'd have 2 Long Island iced teas before 2:00. A second Long Island iced tea at lunch. I'm like, this is later on. It got worse. But the point is, I sold my affiliate network. And I was thinking about what do I do next in life? And I did the Benjamin Franklin, where you draw down what you want and what you don't want on one side. What you want on one side, what you don't want on one side. And I just kind of train of thought, just writing things down. And I said, I don't want employees. I don't want to be tied down to a physical location. I don't want, I want to work asynchronously. So and what I came up with was, I was like, I came up with a bunch of ideas. I didn't know what to do. So I said, the best thing I could invest in is myself. And I've all these people I've trained, and I've done good at training, and I've made people a lot of money, and I still get people asking me how I make money because I'm posting up all these pictures on Facebook. I'm in Morocco, I've been to like 60 some countries, and people are seeing, these. So I said, let me try doing that. I'll build my brand, and I'll teach people how to make money on the internet. And I started, I set up actually this whiteboard right over there.
Yeah.
And what I did was I put that, in my, wherever I was living at the time. And I just put up a bunch of traffic sources, maybe 8 I was going to test ads on. And, I was going to build the funnel and what I needed to do. And I saw Ty Lopez on YouTube ads. This is 2015. And I said, oh, I didn't even, this is the beginning of YouTube ads. You got, yeah. When
that was like Mike Chang era. That was like Six Pack Shortcuts.
Yeah.
Ty Lopez in his garage.
Yeah.
Mike Chang shoving food in his face.
Yeah.
Six Pack Shortcuts.
Yeah. Six Pack Shortcuts.
Yeah.
So this is around the time I met Brock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My business partner.
Yeah. Your business partner. And
the legend.
Oh, he's a legend. He's a legend.
Yeah.
So it was him, me. We're but a couple guys were messing around with YouTube ads, and a couple marketers. Most people didn't believe in YouTube ads that strongly because they thought, okay, attention spans are short. They're watching a video. They want to continue watching a video. But I'd heard the same thing go on with Facebook ads. And for me, I'm like, it doesn't matter. There's people there. There's a way to figure out how to. There's a way to figure it out. And I've often liked to zag when other people zig. I've found, I in many respects, this is something I struggle with. I'm a contrarian thinker. I don't, if everybody's saying one thing, there's like a little piece of me that's like, I don't trust that. Right. So I was like, screw it. I'll take my camera phone. Like, I have a camera on this thing. I'll shoot a freaking ad. How difficult can this be? I'm like, hey, what's up? I'll try, throw it on YouTube, spend like, a couple $100 on it. I was like, yo, this is interesting. I'm like, these clicks are cheap. I'm like, these clicks are cheap. I was like, get out of here. I'm like, the targeting options suck. And this, there's there's like so many things that sucked about it. But I was like, yo, these freaking clicks are cheap. I think part of the reason I was lucky was because I didn't also go with the rest of the flow of you have to produce an ad, you have to hire a, videographer with good lighting and all this stuff. I think I just would have overthought it if I didn't just freaking, I said, Ty Lopez just turned the camera on himself. Let me just try it. Yeah. And I think also so I didn't create that obstacle I just tried it. Now, later on, my ads became much more produced because I love video production. But that got me into YouTube ads. And then we just, selling info product, biz op on YouTube ads, 2015. Yeah. I was pretty early. It was like Ty, then Sam Ovens,
Mhm.
and I came on pretty quickly. I ripped Sam Ovens' webinar. I just changed like consulting to like affiliate marketing,
Mhm.
and the funnel crushed. So then
Mhm.
I got the funnel nailed down, and we got tens of thousands of customers for a $47 a month offer that year. So then I was in business.
That's crazy. So that was your first initial offer, was a $47 a month continuity membership situation.
I started at
Yeah.
$47 one time
Mhm.
because I wouldn't like to do 47 a month, but then I changed it to monthly,
Mhm.
and the drop in conversion rate was like the conversion rate went down barely a blip.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised.
And people were sticking around, obviously, sometime.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
2.5 months.
Yeah. Got it.
But then I started selling the lead
Okay.
to there's all these sales floors in like Utah and like Washington and Nevada and Arizona. And so I started selling my customers information because I didn't want to do coaching at the time. But I was at affiliate summit. Somebody said, "Oh, we'll buy your customer data."
Yeah.
I was like, we could rev share on it. I want to see what the sales are.
Yeah.
And I did a rev share that doubled the value of, how much money I was getting. Then, going to these conferences, somebody wanted to manage my email lists. And every person who, I was building huge email lists, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. And, that turned into more money. They just promoted other webinars. So it became a whole self-reinforcing cycle. And then all these people we were promoting to my email list, they were like, bro, they're like my best friend all of a sudden, because there's all these biz op gurus who like don't actually have a source of traffic. And they're not actually good at spending $1 to make back 2 or 3.
Right.
So they're kind of relying on these joint ventures, which is fine. I used to have I was like, why are you even teaching marketing if you can't turn $1 into 3?
Yeah.
But
yeah. Yeah. So then, okay. So what's the evolution of that funnel? You started off with 47 flat, 47 continuity, selling the lead to high ticket coaching. At what point did you decide to maybe take that offer in-house, or how'd that happen?
Oh, dude, fascinating. So we've moved it. So I was promoting. So we moved the price up to $997. That was the next price point we moved up to.
No sales team, or just
no sales team, just webinar. I did a different. I just basically I changed the price point.
Right.
And it worked. I changed the webinar bit too, because 47 a month, I was teaching really just an introductory series to affiliate marketing, what it is, how to get traffic. But I wasn't teaching paid advertising, because people who spend $47, they don't want to actually spend extra money on ads and website hosting and all these things. A domain, SSL certificate. They're not going that deep. So when I moved the price point up, I was like, I'm excited to do $997 because I'm actually going to talk about paid advertising, and people are going to have the means to do paid advertising. Seriously. And so I started selling at $997, and again, just, like crushed.
Yeah.
Crushed, just better ROAS. And I love that. And the customers got a little higher quality. They weren't just what I call speculators. But still people would complain like they don't get it, or they wish there was like some way to talk to somebody or one-on-one. And I'm like, frankly, 50% goes to the affiliate. That wasn't the model. And I said, okay, if people want that, and I basically I offered years later, I developed a one-on-one mentorship because I wanted kind of an avenue to actually work with people one-on-one. They're not working with me, but they're working with some of my most successful students. But I wanted them to have an avenue to work with a real, actually successful student of mine who's making money, who's making serious money. And I put a limiter of only people who are making $10,000 a month or more and are open to working with students. So our mentors, you know, they get, you know, they're successful entrepreneurs. And that's who I wanted to learn from. That's who all I wanted in college was to learn from somebody who'd actually done it successfully, was doing it, a practitioner. And I wanted to make that available to other people. So that's what I've done in my mentorship program. And that starts at $5,000. And then we have like tiers based on how like deeply you want, you know, your mentor to work with you, whether you want them to create your website for you and do all your copy, and really kind of, you know, we separate out our packages, kind of like do it yourself, which is kind of like, we're going to mentor you, you know, like you get access to some of my programs. We've built some software. We have our done with you, which is, okay, we're going to, you know, like more mentorship, and then done for you, which is kind of like, we're going to do it for you. And then you watch over our shoulders, and then you try it out yourself. So that's how that came about. I'm really big on education. I'm big on mentorship, but I'm really big on that human connection element. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. Having a human who cares is invaluable in learning, I think, any new skill. And that was how I learned. I didn't go into my mentorship story and who mentored me, but a human being who cares. It's hard to find nowadays.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, I mean, that's so, I love how the increase in price is always, how can I do more? Right.
Yeah.
It's,
Yes.
you know, that says a lot, really.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Except for the 47 to 47 a month. That one was, that one was.
I'm sure.
No, I'd monthly webinars.
Exactly.
For that.
I mean, that's huge right there. Like just to
Yeah.
get like, you know, the opportunity to ask more questions. That's still an irresistible offer. And that's actually something that you talked about with the study guides. You created an irresistible offer kind of by trial and error. You talked about, it was super specific. And then also you had this money back guarantee too, in terms of like get a B plus, and all these sort of elements kind of came together after you had taken a lot of shots at it. So yeah. So, okay. So obviously any kind of biz op right now, compliance, crazy, right? Like what are your thoughts on it? What's been your journey with compliance and making this all run on these platforms?
Man. Come on, man. You want to shoot me in the heart right now?
Everyone, it's on. We send out these emails. We go, hey, you want to. We got something we're working on for compliance. Tell people with compliance. And people go compliance. They want to know more about that.
Where is it? I got Onyx and Gall's book for compliance. Look, don't say that. See, I'm learning.
Always learning.
I'm learning compliance.
Yeah.
So we got this is a spot. No, I'd say for compliance, part of the problem with being a really good marketer, I know exactly what to say to get people to spend money. Like and for my own, and that's but I'm never going to lie, but I was on Netflix. Did you know I was on like a Netflix series?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I didn't even know for the longest. People started hitting me up.
Yeah.
It's called I think it's just called Money.
Okay.
Or Money Explained.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Money Explained. And I'm like, it was me, Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, Dan Locke.
Wow.
And they used me as the example of puffery.
Puffery.
Yeah.
What's puffery?
Actually, puffery is making something sound better than a subjective person's opinion of it is.
Okay.
It's they can get you for anything nowadays. If they say you didn't say anything wrong. You didn't lie. You didn't say any mistruths. You just the perception. This is literally how the FTC has done cases recently. You're able to create a greater perception of the offer that doesn't necessarily mesh up, in our opinion, with the reality. It's BS. So obviously you can tell I'm sorry. I'm actually a very litigious person. I'm very good with, I've hired a lot of lawyers.
Mhm.
I've been very good with my legal disclaimers. I disclaim everything. I over disclaim.
Mhm.
If you've seen my TV infomercial, I over disclaim. Like literally, there's disclaimers on the entire show run for 30 minutes. So I'm huge, but I guess that doesn't matter if it, whatever. My back and forth with compliance, and regulatory stuff. So I got, my first lawsuit. Well, actually, I've only been in one lawsuit. That was at that gold company. My hair was falling out, and what it wasn't the government. It was all the competitors teamed up to sue me, and they sued me and all the other top affiliates for this new upstart. And then they dropped the lawsuit, and they wanted me to be an affiliate for them as well. And I still to this day, all the gold companies hit me up
Really?
because they, because I kind of made a rep for myself in that industry of like.
Yeah.
I helped this one company grow from 5 million a year to 50 million a year.
Wow.
And it's like you're talking big numbers there. I didn't get, I didn't get 50 million, but I helped this dude. Well, this dude ended up stealing everybody's money and going to Dubai, like this Canadian guy. Yeah, Tyler. Oh, yeah, crazy story. So regulatory, I'd say with BizOp, the government doesn't like BizOp. I don't think they want people making money. The government doesn't like natural weight loss supplements either. Ozembic's great.
Yeah.
Ozempic, take crazy genetically made, pills that were concocted in a freaking laboratory, but you're not allowed to advertise a natural supplement. So where my thoughts are on the government are probably very similar to Kevin Trudeau's, the famous other infomercial marketer. And I would say that it started in the late 2010s, around, I think it was 2018, when Facebook, like the beginnings of what happened, what started with Facebook saying, we are going to start increasing the cost of your advertising, not necessarily based on an auction system, but based on whether or not we feel your ads are good for people. I've seen compliance and stuff go way up on Facebook's and Google's. I heard a statistic from some of the people I work with that 50 to 80% of business gurus have gone out of the industry this year alone.
Yeah, and that's definitely something I want to pick your brain on, because I know that you're definitely doing some things in different spaces than you've been. But for now, because we're talking about compliance, I'm actually really interested, because I think one of the exciting things that you mentioned before we started recording today is how, you had this successful info product business. Facebook squeezed you, Google squeezed you. So then what do you do?
You're referring to what I said earlier about how like we were getting squeezed on Facebook and YouTube earlier this year. Dude, I made a hard decision. So our margins kept going down, and I was hearing this from everybody else in the industry. I'm working with an agency that focuses on people like me. I'm working with 3 different agencies which focus just on basically like biz op coaches. And I had to make a decision, and a true decision is when you're cutting off other choices. Most people, they'll say they're making decisions. They're not cutting off other choices. They're just.
You mentioned the Latin. We got the Latin guy here, so
Okay. The Latin.
Yeah, you dropped that Latin in there.
Decision comes from the Latin word desire, which literally means to cut off. We got Julius Caesar right here. So I decided I said, look, this is a down, our ROAS is declining. It's, our funnel's optimized. We, all this stuff for no fault of our own. We're going to go on TV. I think there's an opportunity there. And I cut all of our ads on these other platforms, and there are all these other softwares we're using to manage everything, agencies, I cut just a ton of expenses. I said, we're going to hoard cash for a second, and we're going to freaking go find a new channel. because I don't think the government or the people like us here. We went on TV and my team thought I was crazy. My team thought I was nuts. And I have like 20 some people working for me at this point, all contractors, but they thought I was crazy. And at first it didn't work. I had edited, I'd repurposed the previous infomercial I had done like at the beginning of COVID. And it was just awful. I was like, oh, we're gonna run. Nobody in BizOp is on TV anymore. We're gonna be the only ones on TV this time around. Like, it's just gonna work. And it didn't. And there was some interesting lessons for me in that. But it's very marketing specific. I could talk about it later if you want. And I redid the infomercial, $25,000. I got a crew together. I produced it. I directed it. I got the crew together. I put everybody up, near the house we were renting. I rented all the stuff. I did all the contracts, all the legal stuff. And we put it up. And right now we're sitting at this month we're at 4.9 ROAS. Wow. So every dollar I put in turns into basically $5.
Wow.
So I'd say it's working, and we're scaling. But I'd say the reason it's working, part of the reason is I had to make a decision, and I had to cut my team's focus, and I had to cut everything off from everything else, all the little what I call weak attempts at trying. We were doing weak attempts on many different traffic sources, and I said, we're doing a full send on one. And we're going to make it work. And I think when smart people come together and pursue one goal with the aim of we're going to figure it out. We might not have the answer right now, but we're going to figure it out. I truly think magic happens.
Wow. That's pretty incredible. So I'm really curious, and I think people are going to want to know. So what did you learn from taking that first infomercial failed?
Yeah.
So how did you figure out what was not working, and how did you iterate to success on that?
Sure. So we had seen this come up one time before, so it was easier for me to find this out this time around. I'd say that's the benefit of experience. So my previous infomercial was very well done with a very beautiful interviewer. My infomercials are basically just news segments, or it's a news interview, just like this, because it's very native. I'm very big on blending in sometimes, I guess not always on me, but I'm a big fan generally in advertising. I'm like, blend in. You can blend in or stand out. And so I repurposed the infomercial where I was selling my book for $39.95. And I said, I'm just going to cut the parts where I'm talking about, where I'm pitching the book. And I'm going to change the call to action to be, hey, get mentored by me. That infomercial did well, at least during COVID. So I thought, okay, if I just change the call to action. And I changed the call to action, and we were getting a lot of leads in, but they weren't qualified, or they didn't care, they weren't qualified financially, and they didn't have the money. I thought, why? I'm advertising on Fox Business, on CNBC. I'm like, surely there's people with money there. Why am I getting the broke ones? And the reason why is because the angle I used to pitch the book, and even the copy in the infomercial was like, are you trying to figure out a way to make, are you broke but trying to figure out a way to make money? Are you looking for a new income stream? Do you have are you trying to build your savings for retirement? I'm talking to broke people. I'm talking to an audience that would buy a $39 book, right? I'm not talking to somebody who's successful, who actually is serious and wants and understands they need to invest in themselves to get ahead. The angling was totally off. And another way I could put this is my ads where I'm selling a $47 a month subscription to learn money. I am hyping. I'm like, yo, guys, we're going to make so much money. I have this hack. I have this secret. Whereas somebody who's actually serious about business, they're not, they know there's no freaking hacks. They know it's, there's hard work. There's industry knowledge. There's, you need a playbook, and, really they're looking for a playbook. These people were looking for a hack. And so I was getting more like of a kind of like a hick, maybe apartment dwelling type audience with that infomercial when I repurposed it. So what I did was I totally changed the tone around. I got rid of the Lamborghinis and the helicopters in the infomercial. I didn't, have those. I'm a helicopter pilot, by the way.
Are you really?
Yeah.
No.
Camarillo. I fly out of Camarillo. Yeah, that's
cool.
that's our home airport. And I made it much more serious, much more business oriented. And I guess I was just, there's less puffery, and I was just like, look, it's going to take hard work.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee you'll make money, but I have the playbook.
Yeah.
And if you want the playbook, if you're serious about this stuff and you understand the value of working with somebody one-on-one, then scan the QR code.
Nice.
And I'd say that approach got me a much more higher quality person than this hypey Lamborghini helicopter approach to selling a book.
Makes sense. That's really cool. And the QR code, this is super technical, but
the
QR code versus phone number. What's the breakdown? What do you see?
We're not doing phone number anymore.
So you just do straight QR code.
Yeah, I don't want to mess around with phone. I mean, there's extra software involved.
Yeah.
There's extra people you have to pay. There's extra, I just
straight to a website on the phone, or what?
No, it's on TV.
But they scan it with their phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
And then they fill out a lead form
on the phone.
Yeah.
So just like that.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's QR code and website, and 80% of the people scan the QR code. The other reason I had around the QR code is idea was because if I'm teaching people, the audience on TV is older, but I was thinking if I'm teaching people to use technology, and they don't know how to scan a QR,
it's a filter for sure.
It's a filter. Yeah. If there was a phone number and a QR code and somebody decided to call the phone number, I don't think that would even be a good customer for learning how to make money on the internet.
That makes a lot of sense. And so what's the funnel like? So you got the $39 book, and then what happens from there? They buy the book.
So they don't buy the book anymore.
They don't.
They scan a QR. They watch my infomercial.
Yeah.
They scan a QR code.
Yeah.
They fill out a type form. There's 5 disqualifiers. If they aren't filtered out, which more than half of people are, like the people who are filtered out, they can buy the book. Right? That's what we sell. We say, hey, buy the book. And if they aren't filtered out, they get a book a call with my team to see if they're a good fit. They book a call with my team. After they book a call with my team, they get a pretty long webinar, which I recorded, explaining exactly what affiliate marketing is, exactly how it works, exactly how they're getting paid, exactly our step-by-step process, what makes us different, and how it works within my program. The coaches, the mentors, these aren't these are English speaking, American, English, it's not like a Filipino or an Indian you're getting on the phone with. And I explain all this stuff. And so I make it very clear so that there isn't much of like a quote unquote sales process. I just, lay it all out there, literally after they schedule a call, and people seem to appreciate that approach rather than kind of like a high pressure sort of like sales approach.
So, and most people watch it right after booking the call.
If they don't watch it right after booking, I don't know the exact statistics on it, but we follow up with them in our email and texts before their call to encourage them to, and if they don't watch the webinar, whoever gets on the phone with them will just say, hey, you have to watch the webinar first.
Got it.
Or, this isn't going to be a good fit for you. Because, I don't think anybody wants to be sold, and nobody wants to do sales. Like if it's laid out in a webinar, it's like, let's understand what we're getting into, and then we'll talk about the details.
Got it. Yeah. And then what does the phone team sell to them?
Our mentorship program. So our mentorship program is anywhere between $5,000 to $25,000.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So you go webinar after they sign up, and then what do you do with those leads too? Are you emailing them?
Yeah, we're following up
Mhm.
with them to watch the webinar.
Got it. So it's single focus. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Very cool. Very cool. All right. TV's working for you.
TV, we're the only, there used to be a lot of
Yeah.
guys like me on TV.
Yeah.
So they're pitching, real estate,
Right.
they're pitching stock trading
Right.
programs or seminars or stuff like that. And they're pitching making money on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm the only
Why?
guy on TV right now.
What happened? Like, where'd everybody go?
All the seminar guys went away during COVID.
Really?
So real estate and stock trading.
Mhm.
So the price points on the real estate and stock trading programs. So like, whereas stuff in my niche, it's like 5 to 25, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Whereas in stock trading, it's like 10 to 50.
Okay.
And in real estate, it's 25 to 100.
Wow.
So all those guys went away because the way that funnel was set up, or their funnels were set up, was seminars.
Mhm. In person.
Yeah, basically
Yeah.
they'd do local ads, and they'd get people to a seminar
Mhm.
for a day or two, and they'd pitch the program.
Yeah.
For 10 to 50,000 for a stock trading thing, or it might be like a weekend stock trading seminar in Orange County. Come
Yep.
in, and they pack the room, and it'll be also like a little sales pitch. And why didn't these guys shift to webinars? I don't know.
You think it's just like a skills issue? Skills, and they don't have the resources to do it. You think it would work on a webinar?
I think it would work.
Yeah.
I think these guys are silly. No, I just think I think these guys are probably doing well, and they're just like, let's just do Facebook ads.
Oh, okay.
And let's do things that way.
Mhm.
But I think they should have done a webinar. I don't know why seminar, webinar, don't even sounds the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, that explains those guys. The make money online guys, there are a couple companies doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of the companies doing that were just, they were not good marketers, or they weren't offering a good program on the back end.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. They weren't giving people actually good training. The owners did not care. They were not involved in that aspect of things. They were running things as a cash grab. So the make money online guys, some of them had various issues, whether it was the law or with customer reviews or whatever, and they kind of filtered out as well.
Got it. So what's your next step beyond, you got this business, obviously, but what are you looking ahead this year, next year? Where are you looking? Like, what's possibilities for you?
Yeah, I'm actually not interested in running a business, so to speak. I want to be involved. I want to be a huge contributor in a business. But where I'm looking to go, I've actually had 8 failed attempts at creating my own software now, at creating a SaaS. And I truly believe figuring out a way to take some of the insights I have, and I feel it like I continue to have about marketing. And obviously, I've been like a cockroach in marketing. Companies come in and out, and I'm always able to adapt. And I think there's something, I understand it, and I want to figure out how to take what I do and either involve myself in software or do this, get these insights out to people in a more kind of what I call programmatic way. I also see the world as like bifurcating, and I think helping businesses or business owners moving upstream to not just teaching, somebody wants to, scrape together their, like become an affiliate marketer. Yeah, that's great. But I think I need to take my knowledge upstream, not just to consumers who are like looking to hustle some dimes together, but taking those upstream to businesses and, bigger businesses. And how can I actually work with, instead of guys who have, we've had people, I had an Iraqi student give me his last $5,000, some guy in Iraq.
Wow. In Iraq, actually.
Wow. He was an English tutor, and he was, he had a little money saved up, and he had $5,000 saved up. He gave me his last $5,000. My salesperson actually made me get on the phone call with him and be like, get on the phone. He was like, can we even take this guy's money? Like, this doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
I was like, let me talk to him. And, and he ended up making 6 figures a year.
Amazing.
He
Yeah.
moved to Dubai, bought
Mhm.
himself a condo.
Mhm.
He's living like he's a totally different person now.
Mhm.
And that's great, but I'd rather do that with a business that's on their last $5 million.
Mhm.
I'd rather have a business give me their last $5 million and help them make 100 million a year.
Mhm.
And I've already done that with businesses
Mhm.
before. So I'd rather move upstream. And I think that's my future.
Mhm.
You know, I ultimately want to go to space.
Nice. Nice.
And I think in order to go to space, it's not just about helping a lot of individual, you know, like people become affiliates.
Mhm.
And, you know, I want to help like the people I respect the most in life have been some highly successful people. I want to involve myself with people like those.
Mhm.
I want to involve myself with a more higher level type of person.
Got it.
And I'm my YouTube content, I'm angling
Yeah.
towards much less of a beginner
Mhm. Mhm.
now.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting too, how you have always leveraged like whatever's at your disposal. So flyers early on, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 25 free
Yeah.
printed pages
Right.
a week. Yeah.
That's like
or a day. I mean,
yeah, that's your
that was
distribution right
retarded.
there.
Yeah.
And then you know, early on Facebook, early on Google, the competitor websites with the gold,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Early on YouTube, revisiting TV is sort of a you know, a new thing, really. Like revisited it's
I'm the only biz
yeah,
op guy on TV.
it's wild. But you never fail to invest in your building your brand and your organic too. I mean, we were talking before the recording today about the live stream you shot today. You said, yeah, I did this keyword research, super specific. I want this live stream to rank for this specific thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome that you're pretty holistic. You're always looking for ways
Yeah.
to manage attention, to attract attention, and then, you know, engage with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love marketing.
Yeah.
I honestly love marketing. I think it's about being able to communicate with the computers, and it's a skill, and it's just, you got to go out there and do it more and be fearless. I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, we could probably go on for a very long time. And, you know, like, yeah, I'd love to keep picking your brain. I think people are gonna have a lot of questions too. And I'd love to do like a follow-up at some point as well. Just, yeah, keep going with everything that you're dropping here. But you got some serious library here, man. You got like,
Yeah.
you got a lot of books in here. And then, you know, throughout your house, you got some really cool books. You got a bunch of science fiction. You got a lot of pretty technical, like statistics books.
Yeah.
And I was like, does he actually read that? And you know, and then you're like, oh yeah, this thing, check this out. And you went to the specific page. Look at this. Clearly, you know, you consume a lot of information. How do you think about that consumption, and how are you able to ingest all that?
I love questions like
that.
Yeah. So how do I think about consuming information?
Yeah.
So one of the science fiction books I read was Werner Vinge Rainbow's Edge, and which actually shows affiliate marketing in the future, which is really cool. It goes back to handshakes, but well, we won't. I won't. It gets way too crazy. But I think about it. They have this concept called just-in-time learning, JIT learning, and you know, speed learning is something Tim Ferriss has gone over and stuff like that. But I think about learning as, first off, I love it. And I think you have to love learning. I think some people look at learning as, I've talked to people, many people who believe learning is sort of admitting a deficiency in something. I don't understand where that comes from. You know, it's like, oh, I got to take some class of something, or the way I learn is, first off, I try to consume a variety. I ask a lot of questions, and I try to talk to strangers. There's this concept of, you have known knowns, unknown knowns. So known knowns, things you know. Then there's unknown knowns, things you don't know, things you haven't thought about, but you would know how to do it if somebody asked you to, or something. And then there's known unknowns. These are things you know you don't know. So I do not know how to create a sculpture, right? Just don't know. But the worst category, and the one that screws everyone up, is the fourth one, which is the unknown unknowns. What you don't even know you don't know about. And so many of us are living in our own bubble these days. And I say, meet new people, sit at the edge of the bar, sit in the corner of the bar, ask strangers questions. I ask, what are your joys? What are your hopes? What are your fears? What are your worries? What are your pains? I ask people, I was generally, but I ask people a variety of questions. I say, talking to people has probably been the most powerful form of learning. Talking to strangers, truly talking and listening and traveling. Beyond that, I would say books. And I'd say good books, good authors. I read sci-fi because I feel like it's a bicycle for the brain. Like you're communicating with some of the smartest people in the earth when you're doing sci-fi. And Elon Musk said, sci-fi authors, somebody said, how do you come up with your ideas? He said, I read sci-fi books and I figured out which are financially feasible to do.
Yeah.
And so I think sci-fi books are very, prescient is the word. So but I just love sci-fi. It's for fun. And for content nowadays, I'm actually not reading, I have a lot of marketing books, but I'm not reading as many marketing books. What I'm actually doing is I'm doing more, YouTube content is through the freaking roof, man.
It's crazy.
So what I'm doing, I'm reaching out to people and I'm asking them what they're doing. I'm still watching YouTube videos to see what I can find, prompting structures, etc. I'm talking about it. I'm trying to get other people to talk to me about prompting. We're right at the beginning of AI, but it's kind of becoming the thing I'm talking about on my channel a lot because I don't see anybody else going in depth as I am.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you see this being crucial to what's coming next on the marketing side, just being able to manage AI.
Prediction.
Yeah.
80% of marketers are going to be laid off by the end of 2025 because of AI. 80% of all tech workers are going to be laid off by the end of 2026 because of AI. And same thing goes for salespeople in 2027. AI is a better graphic designer than 90% of people. It's a better copywriter than 90% of people. It's better at video editing than maybe 50% of people, or 60%, something like that. If you want to be in marketing, you have to learn AI or else you're not going to survive. It's literally as binary as that. It's absolutely taken over. If you want to be in any profession moving forward into the future, I truly believe you're going to need to use AI. And you're going to need to know how to work with these tools. It's unfreaking believable how powerful it is. And what I'm doing it for, what I'm doing it is I'm using it for specific use cases. I'm having it help me with coming up with ideas for my YouTube videos. I'm having it help me with the script. I'm having it help me with what to put in the thumbnail, getting some research. So I'm having it do very specific tasks, but it's way faster at those tasks than me. It's better at writing copy. People ask it to write copy, but I guess it's better at rewriting copy. So I have it rewrite working ad controls. But learning how to communicate with AI, how to make it give you effective stuff I just don't, I think it's going to be a completely bifurcated economy. It's going to be people who understand how to leverage computers. AI is just computers. You're either going to understand how to leverage computers, which is AI is just the next version of computers, or you're going to, I don't know, just like not be playing the game. I just don't, I don't think there's there's no in between.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that simple. Yeah. Makes sense. So you learn by doing then with the AI stuff.
Yeah.
Because obviously you have 600,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. which, you're adding to that with all this stuff you're doing. You're continually testing all this stuff, seeing how it works in real life.
Yeah, basically I'm having AI kind of feed me most of the scripts. I'm finessing them. And they're not full scripts. I like riffing. I do kind of like 10%, I go off the outlines. Like that's my style. It's probably, like I've seen a lot of YouTube gurus that, well, here's another example of something I learned recently. I went through a YouTube script writing course. People don't know YouTube script writing is a thing. But, so I like going into niche things and going really deep and, not just finding a YouTube influencer, but going that next level as a YouTube script writer, a YouTube strategist. I took a YouTube strategist course. So I get really specific into things. And then the other way I learn is going with really broad knowledge from like billionaires to kind of motivate me. I call that lensing in and out. So like zooming in and out. So like, and I tell this to my students is like, if you're looking, sometimes we're looking at problems and we're looking at them too close. So we actually have to like try to take a more meta view of this. It's like, why am I, okay, maybe it's not, I'm doing the business wrong. Maybe it's I'm somehow self-sabotaging myself or, I don't know, like zooming in and out is another way I call it. But I like to do that with learning. Like gardening has been a joy for me. So I do a mix of watching videos and, I'll watch some videos on growing bougainvilleas and then I'll actually, I do it.
Right.
And so I really enjoy it with the AI stuff. I'm doing my scripts. I'm actually performing them and seeing if they flow right. And it's working better than me just going off on my own.
I'm confident whatever the future holds, John, you're going to be able to figure out a way forward. So, and very, with a lot of success. So
thank you, man.
Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing all this stuff. And thanks for hosting us here at your house. And, man, it's been awesome to see you in your environment here.
Yeah, dude, it's cool having you guys combine. I'm happy this is the first podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for VidTow. And
of course.
Thank you so much, and anybody watching, guys, work with this guy. These guys are anything this guy creates has been amazing. VidTow. I've been working with VidTow. I use that to spy on YouTube ads. I tell everybody about it, by the way, because it's just such a valuable software. I've worked with your guys' agency. I mean, that's part of the reason I blew up on YouTube ads. And I know you guys are coming out with tracking software and something else soon.
Yeah,
so.
Brat's got a bunch of really cool stuff that he's using. He's the mad scientist.
Likewise, this guy's having me talk the whole time, but I'll talk about him for a second. These guys, he has so many skunkworks projects going on, and I absolutely watch what this guy does. Sign up. This guy's an early mover on stuff, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hearing my story.
And John, so you just did this live stream before we jumped in this recording. Yeah, you're sharing a lot of great info.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Yeah,
guys, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Absolutely. Whether I have 1,000 videos on there. I talk about everything marketing. I go in, I show tactics. I screen share. I try to show people actual me doing marketing, not just a PowerPoint presentation of like theories. And if you want to work with, my mentorship program and become an affiliate, or you want to just, up level your company and create an affiliate program or whatever, there's information on my YouTube channel. Just subscribe to me there.
Yeah, it's fantastic stuff. So John, thanks again. And looking forward to hopefully more conversations like this.
For sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Again, check out funneloftheweek.com. We do a free email every week where we do some takeaways from our full funnel breakdowns, which are available inside our members area. We break down a full funnel for a D2C or direct response product each and every week. We're talking about all the ads, landing pages, advertorials, sales pages, checkout pages, VSLs, upsells. We go through the full funnel so that you can check it out yourself and apply the learnings to your own funnels and see more success. So check it out, funneloftheweek.com. Thanks and have a great one.